We are back to continue our tour through the football world. Last time we were in the Caribbean. Now it's time to return to Africa. Today we talk about football in Djibouti, and it has some surprises in store. Let's first clarify where we are actually going. Many people will probably say, Djibouti? Never heard of it. But our journey takes us to East Africa. Surrounded by big countries like Somalia, Ethiopia or Eritrea lies Djibouti. It's not far across the sea to Yemen. So it's in a crisis-ridden region of the world. But don't let that blind you. The country has a lot to offer. We can reach it by plane to Djibouti Ambuli Airport or by train from Ethiopia. Plus, of course, by boat or ship. The capital is called Djibouti City and has about 600,000 inhabitants. It is located on the Horn of Africa, so at a strategically important point for trade in the entire region. As I said, don't underestimate the importance of the country. Although it only has a little less than 1 million inhabitants in total, it is booming and there is massive investment. But we don't want to talk about money, location and all that. We want to talk about football. Djibouti has been independent from France since 1977. Before that, the country was known as French Somaliland. The history of football goes back to the 1940s. As early as 1947, the national team played an international match against Ethiopia, of course still under the old name. After independence, it took some time before football took off in the country. The national team returned to the international stage in 1983, and the country has had its own league since 1987. But how strong is the league? How can we imagine football there? Again, today an expert from the country helps us here. Samuel Akinbino is a 24-year-old striker who currently plays for arguably the country's biggest club, AS Arta Solar 7. He was born in Lagos, Nigeria, but joined Arta Solar in 2020 and also made his debut for the national team in 2021. His ancestors are from the country, and he has already scored a few goals in the few international matches he has played.
About the championnat, yeah, the infrastructure is coming up gradually. We have a good pitch, and probably we are building some pitch now, but I don't know when and when we're going to finish. Everything is going well. We are coming up. As you can know, Djibouti is a lower country. For sports, they are trying their best. I can guarantee you, 100%. But we're coming up, making ourselves stronger. Most of us are here. I can say all national team players is here in the league, playing in the domestic league here.
But how do the teams perform in international comparison? They can keep up. Just a few days ago, Samuel's team Arta Solar put up a great fight against Egyptian heavyweight Zamalek. In the second qualifying round of the CAF Confederation Cup, the team even won the first leg 2-0, but was then eliminated due to a 1-4 defeat in the second leg. But it shows that the teams from Djibouti are making progress, and big names are also helping. Who would have thought that Arta Solar has two real football legends from the continent in its squad? Salomon Kalou from the Ivory Coast and Alex Song from Cameroon. Alain Traoré, the brother of Premier League star Bertrand Traoré from Burkina Faso, is also part of the team. But how do such names come to the small country? Club owner Tommy Tayoro Nikos, a businessman from the Ivory Coast, has a plan to make the club a big name in Africa. So, among other investments in Djibouti, he is also building a football club. And 2 league titles and a remarkable success against Zamalek prove that the club is definitely making great progress. The entire league is played in one stadium in the capital, although there are also clubs from other cities. But the matches are played in the El Haji Hassan Doulet Abtidon Stadium. In international competitions, teams move to Tanzania or other countries to meet CAF standards. But can the progress made in club football also rub off on the national team, because their history is not yet rich in successes?
We have good players, we have mature players, we are Gomez players, and we were well recognized wherever we are going out. We are well recognized, they know us, but I surely believe with time, everything will be in shape.
Since 1994, the association has belonged to CAF and FIFA and could thus participate in official international matches. But they have never qualified for a major tournament. In the preliminary round for the qualification for the AFCON 2024 in Ivory Coast, the team failed against South Sudan with 2 defeats. Djibouti also failed to qualify for the last World Cup in Qatar, but at least got through the first round against Eswatini. In the group stage after that, the team failed to pick up a single point against Algeria, Burkina Faso and Niger. So there's still a lot of work to do to improve the current place in the world rankings, 190th, and perhaps also to have the chance to take part in major tournaments. But to believe in the country and also in Samuel is great that these goals can be achieved at some point in the future.
By the national team, you can see we compete in the World Cup qualifier, African Cup of Nations, but we are just not there yet. And I'm very sure and 100% with due time, the way we are grooming the team now, we are going to achieve our aim. I'm 100%, not 80%, I'm 100%. With due time, we are going to achieve it.
But who are the players who are very well known in the country and can also be called stars there? As Samuel said earlier, almost the entire national team plays in the domestic league, many at Arta Solar. There's also a player, Anas Farah Ali, who plays in the 2nd division in Norway and made his debut for the national team in 2021, having previously played for youth national teams in Norway. But he remains the exception. Other players like record international Daoud Wais or Douale Mohamed Alabe play at home. A glimmer of hope is the victory at the Four Nations Cup in Mauritius in June. There, the team won against Mauritius and Pakistan. The match against Kenya was rated for Djibouti because the team from Kenya did not make it to the match in time. Thus, Djibouti won the title at the tournament, with Samuel contributing 2 goals. The national team wants to take this positive experience with them to surprise Egypt and Guinea-Bissau in November, when the World Cup qualifiers for the 2026 tournament begin. Then Samuel will probably also be there and try to cause trouble against Mohamed Salah and his teammates. We tick off our next country on the Football World Tour. We leave Djibouti and remember a small but emerging and great country. Next up here on the channel will be the second part of my AFCON prediction, so feel free to subscribe and check back to the old videos. See you soon!